Welcome back to Prime Your Day, Prime Your Life. And today I've got a specialist person on content. How do we get over that block when we think, I must put something out on LinkedIn or Facebook or Insta, and we just have that block and it gets so just all consuming and we don't know where to go. This is Lisa East and she is from the Thinking Cap. And today she's going to share with you some tips to make sure you've all got some content and therefore you can relax and stay easy. Lisa East, welcome to the screen. It's great to see you. How are you today?
Great, good, thank you.
Excellent. So, content. How and when did you get involved in this art of the social media platform?
Right, well, I've been in marketing and sales consultancy for 12 years. And it's always been something that I've touched on when I've done email marketing campaigns, thinking of content to pop in there, website updates and blogs. So it's always been something that I've done. However, last 2 years since pandemic, I've niched into just social media. This is something that people struggle with, need somebody else to manage it and help them with it, or basically want to do it themselves and need somebody to give them all the tips and some training. So yeah, so last 2 years I've niched and yeah, I've been really busy.
Well, I can see you're always busy, and I know we're going to get to some of your challenges and masterminds that we're going to get to later on. But we get to that block and we just think, where should we go next? Where do you see as the main struggle when it comes to content creating?
People forget to keep it social. I think immediately people think because they're doing it in work time and it's on behalf of the company, they have to sell. I find a lot of people struggle to crank up the human element in the posts, and it's all a bit boring and grey and sell. It's not selling media, it's social media. And we know, like LinkedIn's a professional platform. It's not for having a laugh every 2 minutes, but keeping the human side of things. It needs to be thoughtful, social, story-led, and they're the kind of things that help draw people in and engage with them. And if it's on their level, in their voice, talking about the things that they're struggling with, and it's helpful and knowledgeable. And it's topical, obviously, around what you do as a service or your company does and sell. It has to be around that. But it's keeping it human and social, and then selling a little bit in between the lines and the posts as you go along. Okay.
And when, therefore, somebody says, oh, come on, LinkedIn isn't Facebook, where does that sit with you? Do you absolutely agree? Or do you think, well, there are places, clearly you've already said it, where human stories can be good for LinkedIn?
Yeah, a couple of years ago, I'd agreed with that. I've seen a lot of things over the years on LinkedIn where I've thought, I'm not going to engage with that because it's out having a laugh and a pint, and sometimes it goes a bit too far. But over the last 2 years, with people working from home, everybody has, like you can see, wardrobes in the background here. People are working from home more and more, if not now, it's the new normal. And people have to show what they're doing. And the dogs get in the way and children get behind the scenes. And there is a little element of that. So I think the barrier of it's not Facebook on the LinkedIn profile platform has come down a little bit. And people are a bit more forgiving. And they accept it a lot more.
But also there's an expectation. I know I just did a Facebook Live today to say 2 years ago, I would have never ever dreamed about sharing my setup, but this is the way that I now work. And prospects also expect you better turn up and do this kind of thing and do it effectively and make it an enjoyable experience for prospect and client.
Yep.
Okay, so we've got that problem. We're going to be a little bit more human. How else can we overcome this block around content, Lisa?
Yeah, well, I think people need to give themselves time and think about their own business. We're all time poor. We've probably all got a list on a morning of what we need to get done that day, and it's all chargeable things. None of it's for ourselves, none of it's for our own company. What I've started to do, I mean, I'm very good at just spending a quick half an hour and I've banged a post out, because that's what I do for other people, and I'm used to doing it. But people who are not in that mindset, I think they need to set aside half a day a week. Half a day a week, whether it's a Friday afternoon, they finish at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, go for lunch, a walk, for a bit of fresh air, and then come back, and the whole afternoon is based on their content for the following week. During the week, they can be making a few notes as to things that they might think that could be a good post, but then park it till the Friday afternoon, and then sit and batch and think of all the things that they can do that week. And gradually, as they get quicker and better and more used to doing it, they may, within that Friday afternoon, do 2 weeks. And there's little things that they can do to help, like they could do one day, like a Tip Tuesday. Or I do a Wisdom Wednesday. Some people do Thoughtful Thursdays, Facts Fridays. There's lots of them. And I've written a blog about how people can use these to help them at least get one post a week out. And it's around a theme. And all they need to do is to think, what tip, what fact, what thoughts could I have that's relevant to my audience, that has got a connection to me, my service or my product, and I can use that as a post on that particular day. And don't forget to use the hashtag of the Tip Tuesday and things in the post. So that's one, one thing that I do recommend, is you sit down and you just focus, switch the email off, switch the phone off, put some music on, whatever floats your boat, and just concentrate on you, your business, and what your audience are wanting to hear. And try and get 3 posts done for the week. I mean, I'd try again and do a little bit of variety. So make one of the posts helpful and useful, one an industry related fact, or you're sharing something from the industry news, or say, for example, you're a HR person and you want to share something from the CIPD website, or something that they've put in their newsletter that's relevant to your audience. Use that and just copy their link, and put some details above it as to why you're sharing. And then do one like more at the end of the week that's more personal and human, as to what you're going to either be doing at the weekend or what you've learned from your your working week, and try and just get a bit more human touch across, closer to the end of the week, when people are kind of winding down a little bit. It's a bit more accepted.
Brilliant. So great tips there. And one of yours that I really like is your recommendation to just forward plan the calendar and see what's going on. So February, for example, obviously it would be Valentine's Day. It's half term. Today, I think, is National Kindness Underactive Kindness Day. So you see these things happening, and then that can help create creative thoughts as to how you can make posts out of those things. And then when the brain starts to get creative, other little sort of tentacles can come from that. So great tip there. And I'm sure if you could go back on Lisa's timeline, you can probably find that post that she wrote about. Of the 3 platforms, Facebook, Instagram or LinkedIn, where do you think the right place is for a business to be if they're looking to try to generate leads or engagement from social?
If they're B2B, and their audience is a business owner, definitely LinkedIn. Twitter's got a place in that as well. And if you're consumer, more Instagram. So I would always back up Facebook if you're on Instagram, and you can, once you do to both, you can connect them both, and if you post to one, it goes automatically to the other. Likewise on LinkedIn, in your settings, in your contact info, if you're on Twitter, you can put your Twitter handle in there, and when you're posting, you can post to anyone and Twitter. So you can do the same through LinkedIn and Twitter, if you wanted to hit both. Obviously, Twitter's got a character limitation, and if you were to do a lengthy LinkedIn post and share it to Twitter, it would then refer somebody back to the LinkedIn post, but you would still see the image and the majority of the beginning of the text. So there's lots of things that you can do, but yeah, I'm always on LinkedIn. That's a really good lead generator for me. And LinkedIn has been really good for customers, from my point of view, when I'm managing their accounts for business to business as well.
Okay, and LinkedIn itself, it seems to be evolving and improving and also reacting. And the last 12 months, I think we've seen stories come and go. Creator mode is now there. Newsletters are available, and the new bell where you can click on somebody's post so you get their constant feed. What are your reactions to some of those evolutions and changes, Lisa?
Yeah, I think LinkedIn's catching up with the other platforms. You know, it's a bit more like YouTube. So, you know, you can click on the bell and subscribe. And I think LinkedIn's just kind of catching up with that. And I think a lot of the platforms are, you know, starting to prefer video again, and they're all competing with YouTube that they will be doing soon. And I think that's just the way people are going. You know, people are time poor. If they like somebody's content and you know, they click on the bell, brilliant for that person. And it's even more another reason to be even more engaging, because you want people to click on that. Just like you do on YouTube, you know, you want to be notified if they put a new video up. And it's great for the person who's creating the content. It's also great for the other person because they don't have to search for it. So yeah, I think they're all really positive steps. You can switch them off. You can alter things in your setup, in your settings. So it doesn't have to be that way forever. If you decide they're annoying, you can always switch them off. So yeah, it's a good thing.
Okay. Now, I don't think we can have this conversation without the connection that looks like a fantastically brilliant connection, and then you get an automatic salesy, pitchy message after that. How do you deal with that, Lisa?
It is
and would you
annoying.
recommend it? Do you think that that's a good approach?
No, I don't do it myself. I wouldn't do it on behalf of customers. Yeah, I think there's a bit of etiquette that people need to learn on LinkedIn. You know, connect with somebody first, engage with the posts, try and have a conversation or a Zoom or a virtual coffee, whatever it is, and to try and get an understanding whether what they're selling is, you know, is something that they would be interested in before they send you an immediate lengthy message that they just copied and pasted. It's even more frustrating when people send me things about, you know, would you like somebody to manage your socials? Or because it's like, well, they don't obviously have a clue.
I don't know whether you can hear this, but I've got an F-14 fighter jet going above me at the moment, and it's okay. I don't think we're invading Ukraine yet.
I've just heard it out the window as well. Yeah, so there was one on Tuesday night as well. So yes, it is very annoying, especially when the service is selling you something that you do. So they clearly do not even look into what it is you do. They're just sending bulk messages out, and I just ignore them. I park it and I just wait. You know, I don't unconnect or block them immediately, but I just think, let's just see, you know, and if they persist, sometimes I just remove them from the connections because they're not the type of people that I want to do business with.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who is the advocate suggesting that this is a great way to own your leads on LinkedIn, but if you are watching this, please don't pitch me. Please don't pitch Lisa. We will probably not engage. I definitely won't. In fact, I'll probably give you my book and say, buy that and you'll learn why this isn't effective. Okay, just in terms of if somebody really has content block and they just can't get over that imposter syndrome, is there time that's good just to engage and talk to people on posts and get involved in comments and just lean into the platform that way?
Definitely. Yeah, I always tell people when I've done training is to listen and engage more than post.
Okay.
Turn up every single day, even if you're not going to post. So you might have 3 posts that you've sorted on a Friday for the following week. Just get on every day. Normally, you know, people are on from 8 o'clock in the morning, especially now they're working from home. Pop on for 10-15 minutes before you start your normal working day and just go down your feed and connect with new people, engage, like something. If you feel you want to leave a comment, do both, and just see the amount of engagement that you get back. And that is also a really good thing to do before you post, because what you're doing is you're telling people that you're on LinkedIn, you're engaging with their posts, and then you're going to post, so they know that you've then just posted. So that's also a really good thing to do. And you might have seen in your own notifications, Chris, where if you've just connected with somebody and then they post, your new connection, Lisa East, has just done a post. So if you're going to connect with anybody, or you're going to think, I'm going to send 10 connection requests today, do it an hour before you post, and then they will see your post once they're connected. So there are just little tips, you know, and things that you can do to help enhance what you're doing. I would definitely say listen and engage more than you post.
Okay, I'm detecting here that you've got some rhythms and some systems going on. So if we were to lock those into things that then become habitual, I'm a great advocate of habits. What would you say your habits should be to ensure that you get a good return on your investment of time on LinkedIn?
Yeah, be on it consistently, go on every day, and try and connect. Use the search facility if you can, and filter down into the job title, even the town, starting your local town, and then go outwards to the county, and just search for people that you know are your audience and connect with people. When you connect, don't just send it on your mobile because you don't have the option to send a note with it. Have some preset notes already written to 130 or 100, I can't remember how many characters it is now on the note, 300 I think. Type some notes out for different people, drop the name in, hi Chris, I'd like to connect because, and then send 10 or 5 a day or 10 a week to get you started, and just see your connections building up. If you've got a company page, remember as an admin of the company page, you can invite 100 people a month to follow that company page. Use those invites. You know, as you're connecting with more people, you'll have more people to invite to the company page. So keep on top of that and don't ever let a month go where you've not used them. So they're free. Once somebody accepts and follows the company page, you get the invite back. So keep popping on the company page and the admins and inviting your connections. Yeah, and post, and when you post, try and tag somebody in if it's relevant to somebody, but only do it if you know they're going to respond and react. Don't tag anybody in coldly that you might not have spoken to for a few years, and research your hashtags. And also, if you are using certain hashtags, like I use social media manager, social media live, content creator, those types of things, I follow those hashtags, because when I'm on and I'm doing my listening, I type in into the search bar at the top right, top left of LinkedIn, like hashtag social media life, and I scroll through all the people who are talking about the same kind of thing. And I either get ideas for myself or I engage, and I get my own name out there within that hashtag. And if you know there's a hashtag that your audience use, even better, then start engaging within the audience to get yourself noticed within the people who you may want to start connecting with. And they're the things really, is just being on every day, be helpful, think of the content for the audience, not what you want to say, it's what they want to hear. Listen, connect, send connection requests, don't forget your company page invites. Just keep it friendly and helpful.
Cool. I love the hashtag thing. I definitely, it's part of my systems in a week. And actually, I learn so much from other people. And sometimes LinkedIn for me is just about actually personal development as well. It is lead generation. Just a question on quantity versus quality. What's your view on that one, Lisa? Some people just say, just ram your LinkedIn with as much as possible. And some say, think about who you want at your party. What's your views on that?
Yeah, I mean, I aim to post 3 times a week, but if I haven't got anything to say, I don't say anything. You know, it doesn't.
In terms of number of connections, do you think it's great to have loads and loads, or
connections? Right. Yes. I think it's. I don't go out and engage with anybody and connect with anybody. And if I get quite a few connection requests every day, and I don't connect with everybody. So I think you just need to be choosy, because at the end of the day, the types of people who you're attracting has to be your ideal audience or within your supplier base. And then it doesn't dilute who you're talking to then. Because I think the algorithms will look at your connections. They got 10,000 connections and only 1,000 of those are connecting and engaging with you. That looks quite bad from the algorithm point of view, that you're not appealing to the audience that you have, when in fact you've probably gone mad with connecting with anybody and everybody. And then a lot of people later on having like a data clean of unfollowing and unconnecting with people. So it saves you doing that as well later on down the line.
I agree with you. I sort of say, imagine it was your next milestone birthday. Would you like to have 10,000 people there that really don't know who you are? Or would you like 100 people there that every single one of them, you knew their stories, their life history, their habits and their foibles? Who would you rather have at your party, and who would be best supportive of your birthday cake? So, what does that look like for you?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to just put Lisa's details up here, and she's going to tell you about some things that she offers you for free to get all this knowledge. You heard some amazing things there around hashtags and profiles and searching and how to filter it down. You can't get that from this video screen, but she will offer you the chance to go and get that if you go and leap into one of her challenges. So whilst I share this, Lisa, what's going on? How can we get involved in your content and your masterclasses, Lisa?
Yeah, well, I have 2 free downloadable masterclasses, and one is all around content. If you went to the website, thethinkingcap.co.uk, there is a training page, and the masterclasses are on there. The one that I'm talking about is social media content made easy. It's probably about 50 minutes in length. You can download it and watch it whenever you want. And it's all around how you can spot content that's around you on a daily basis that you may not think is viable to use. People won't be interested in it. What have I got to say? Because a lot of business owners say that. And it helps you identify what you can be saying and how you could be using it, And if you don't feel that you as a business owner have a lot to say, then you can draw from certain resources that I talk about in the masterclass, like any associations and affiliates. You can go to them for some content for sharing. So there's lots and lots of tips in there as to how to get by, and if you were to watch that before you had like your Friday afternoon session of creating content, it would become a lot clearer.
Awesome.
There's another one about Canva, which is just about, because Canva is like a graphic design tool for non-graphic designers, and that's what I use in all of my posts, and it's free again. So there's a similar free masterclass, which is just a bit shorter, and it's all about introducing Canva to people who don't know how to use it. So once you think of what content to create and use, you don't have to then get a designer to design all the imagery. You can have a go and do it yourself. And it will speed up, once you know the platform. So they're on the website.
Good. And if you're watching, you can see her website there, thethinkingcap.co.uk, and Lisa East. You'll find her on LinkedIn. And if you're watching this on YouTube or the podcast, the show notes will detail where you can go and find Lisa's challenges. And if you are looking at her content, what you'll see is that she uses Canva beautifully to bring her accent color, which I think is orange. Is that about right?
It is. It's orange and pink.
Orange and pink.
Yeah.
And you'll see it sprinkled all over her posts. Why do you use an accent color on your posts? How does that work for you? What's the point of that?
Well, it's all about branding and remaining consistent. So that's another thing, that I would mention. And that's something that I mentioned heavily in the Canva masterclass. Is so when somebody's scrolling on the feed and they see a certain colour, before they even notice your name and your logo, they'll see that is you, and that's your post. And it's really good to use. You can use certain colours just in the background, if it's a certain shape that you have, a font, or just colour of heading text. Just try and remain consistent. And Canva's great because you can upload your brand kit in there as well, so you don't have to keep putting your colour references in. You just do it once. And it can also colour pick from your logo. So there's lots and lots of things that you can do in there to help remain on brand.
Yep. Well, this was a Canva design behind me in terms of that. It's so simple to do. And if a 52-year-old Luddite like me can do it, I'm sure that lots of other people can do it as well. Okay. We always finish with sort of 3 tips, 3 non-negotiables, 3 habits that if nobody watches anything else, they should at least watch this bit. So, Lisa, what would be your 3 main takeaways to ensure that the content is always consistently good?
Okay, well, we've just touched on one, which is being consistent and on brand. I know a lot of business owners are not designers, but just make sure that you have some things consistent on every image or every video or anything that you use, whether it's your logo and it's always in the top left, top right, you have the same font. You've got the same kind of heading style. So people get to know what to expect and know where to look, and they can recognize it as being you. Second one is mixing it up a bit, mix up your posting styles. The algorithms will, give you further reach on your posts if you change the format. So you do a poll one week and you add a document the second week. Don't just do text and images all the time, do an animation, and you can do them in Canva. There's lots and lots of different things that you can do. And just have a play around in LinkedIn where you click on start a post and all the different options will come up, and just click on them to see what they do. And it doesn't matter if you mess it up, just go in and delete it. Nobody will see it within them 10 seconds that have been up. So just play around with it. And if you're unsure, play around with it on a weekend when there's not a lot of people on, and then definitely nobody will see it. And so just mix it up for your own sanity, and the algorithms like it. And that's the same across all the platforms. And also not just the type of post, but mix it up with the type of content. So there's like a nurturing style of content, which is, drawing people in by giving them tips and helpful knowledge and insights. And then there's the money content, which is selling. You don't do a lot of that, but where you mention your call to actions and buy now and all of that. And then there's different types of content that you can do. So mix it all up. And then the third one we've covered again is just to listen and engage, by listening via the hashtags and seeing what other people are talking about. It helps so much for your content. It's just like a conversation. How do I know what to answer you with, Chris? It's because I've listened to the question. How do I know as a content creator to what to put on somebody's feed, like my customers that I manage? I'm not sat in their business every day, but I'm listening to people who are, what they're talking about, what they're moaning about, what the problems are, and how can my product or my customer's product and service help. And I use the same words they use and the hashtags and things that they are talking about in the same language, so they can resonate with it quicker.
So just to demonstrate, tip number one was consistency, to make sure that you're consistent with your brand and your imaging. Tip number two was to be mixing it up. Variety is the spice of life. And tip number three is to use these, but in a virtual sense, listen and engage. And with those three tips, I'm sure that you'll make LinkedIn and all of your social platforms a great place to hang out. Lisa, any final things today around being a social thinking cap kind of thought leader?
That's it. Just have a go. You won't be perfect to start with. And I've worked with some companies who don't approve anything because they want it to be absolutely perfect, and they just don't end up doing anything. Build on it, learn from it. And it's like you're talking to a marching band when you're doing social media. You're talking at people who are scrolling past, walking past. You could post the same thing 3 times in the same day, and only one person would see it once. So don't worry about getting it out there. Just get going, get started, and learn from it. Look at your insights and just think, well, that works. I'll do something similar next month. And just keep putting half a day to one side and trying different things.
I love that. Be happy being imperfectly perfect, I suppose. And just have a go. What's the worst that can happen? And normally the thoughts of fear are never nearly as bad, actually, as when you go in and do it. It's actually just your own imposter syndrome telling you that it's not good enough. Lisa East, all of your details are in the show note. I really implore you to go and dive into Lisa's programs. Again, they are free. It's not often you get the kind of knowledge that she shares for free, and she does it just to make sure that you get the best return on your time. That's it for this week's section of Prime Your Day, Prime Your Life. Thank you so much, Lisa East, for turning up today with such authenticity and clarity.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you soon.
See you.